Welcome to our It's Electra series.
In this series, we're going to share with you gear based on and inspired by the Electra Distortion circuit.
Join us on this journey where we get the most tone out of the least circuit. Today we're going to look at a new MPC module from Stokka Engineering. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you to consider subscribing to the channel, click on the notification bell. Your interaction with us helps us interact with great people in the industry and a guy that is still building MPC modules today.
Right. So if you have an MPC guitar,
fear not.
right, you can get some new modules, right? You don't have to buy. First, there's two problems with the old modules. They're hard to get.
Yeah.
Way overpriced. And half of them don't work. And we've seen this already, right? Just in our diving into this, like some of them that kind of work, kind of don't work. So to get something new and something that somebody's standing behind, I think is a really good thing. Because I'm not going to say, like, we have a couple of Stokka's modules here. We have a tremolo module. I'm just going to drop them down here as I go. There's a tremolo that we've done an episode on. We've done an episode on his envelope filter. We've done an episode on his fuzz. We've done an episode on his delay. And a week or two ago, we might have even, by using a non-approved power supply adapter, we might have fried this. Yeah. And we had to send something back to Eric. And I sent it with him. I'm like, hey, man, if it's not, it is totally our fault. But he went in there, fixed it, sent it back. And that's really cool. So, somebody that stands behind their product, the knowledge that I can buy this and the person that made it still around to fix it.
Send him a message.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and the delay module being one of I was like, of all the modules to have in the guitar, when we decided to zap it, our favorite one. So today what we're looking at, all that is to look at his compressor module. I have the compressor in the back of the MPC guitar right now. This one's blue.
Flanger.
And can I say compressor?
You let the cat out of the bag. Oh. There might be a future module.
We have the flanger module in here. I also have an Electra Distortion circuit in there that Jeff over at RFM made for us. So that's in there as well. Okay. So the flanger, you have the directions. Do you want to...
Oh, boy.
Is it possible to give us a brief rundown of what the switches are?
A brief.
I
always have to get the specs for the specs.
Brief rundown of what this thing does.
I'm not getting any younger. Okay. It can create the typical flange effect as well as varying effects based on the adjustment of onboard pots, which there are 3. There is the speed, which affects the speed. Clockwise gives it a faster speed. Feedback controls how much of the resilient signal is fed back in and added to the guitar signal. You can increase that feedback and almost send it into self-modulation, oscillation, depending on how you have that switch or the depth.
Trim pot.
Thank you. With the screwdrivers that he actually gave us too, that he made in his 3D printer. The pot control, the depth. Pot controls the depth of the flange. Clockwise gives minimal effect, and the counterclockwise increases the rate. Depth. Sorry. The MPC pot on the guitar controls the manual bass setting of the effect. Basically, I think meaning clean signal versus the affected signal.
So jumping right into it, we have the flanger in the MPC in spot 2. And so what we figured we would do, it's kind of set up in a spot that I like it, but I'll play it, maybe move the MPC knob around a little bit, and then maybe kick on that Electra Distortion circuit and kind of push into it a little bit. Then we'll pull it out of this, put it into the Stomp Cradle that Eric also makes, and hit it with the Stomp Cradle. So hit it with some other guitars. Like maybe a Telly. So, what do I need to do here? Anything? There we go.
Tyler JT22.
So here's the MPC with no flanger. move that around a little bit. It's been a long time since we've played without doing clips.
Right. Making it up on the fly.
Right. So that's real quick in here. Let's put it down the Stomp Cradle and maybe twist some knobs. All right. So we put the flanger module into the Stomp Cradle. I think, Pat, if you want to give him a reference tone, then we'll click on and let you hear what it was sounded like. And maybe I'll turn that MPC knob, which would be the same as on the top of the Stomp Cradle. Same knob as we'd have on the guitar. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's subtle. Mm-hmm. When you get all the way back, it's subtle. And at the top, I think you hear it more. Should we check the ranges of some of these other ones? So maybe speed first?
Yeah.
All right. So you hit it and I'll play with it. We'll try. The next one is feedback. And I'm not sure I heard that as much, but I wonder if sometimes you have to have they play off the other ones.
Or if we had the drive on, I don't know if it would really accentuate it without killing everyone. But
let's do the. Should we do the depth roll first, sure. Quick, and we can come back? The amp is humming tonight.
Sorry. Right.
I started moving some of the other ones, and we can see how they.
If you're gonna make a mistake, do it when he has the rate really fast, and you're not sure if it's the pedal or the guitar. I had a real clunker there. I was like,
nice. What's it sound like we drive? Barber Electronics direct drive into the Stokka Flanger. It's cool.
Yes.
And the Stomp Cradle, we should do an episode on specifically on that someday. But the Stomp Cradle is really cool too. If you have an MPC guitar and want to be able to take some of those modules and play them in another guitar,
right?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool, and it's different too because the way they're tied directly to the volume pot on that is different than it is here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have two of them, so at some point we can put them side by side and put a drive into
it took me a second to think of what you were talking about with the volume pot. I'm like, no, that's an MPC pot. The fact that in the guitar they're pre-volume.
Right.
So you can't roll the volume up
right.
and clean them up. But here, if you had it, you could. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that's good thinking. Wow. It's not often Pat drops a volume knob tip.
That's true.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because they're meant to do this. Just turn them up the whole way and leave them there.
So yeah, anyway, final thoughts, quick thoughts?
It's cool. Like you said, it's, even if by chance you didn't have an MPC, you could get this and the Stomp Cradle and explore these because the circuitry in them is really cool in all of them that we've tried. And this flanger, it's got a depth and a width to it that you can get with the trim pots. I think it's really cool. I'm glad that someone is doing them because we got into it totally based on something else, Electra Distortion circuit, and kind of, I think, backed our way into the MPC guitars and then got into these, had a couple originals with the one that came, and then found these guys that are making them now. Mm-hmm. And they're really making some really cool stuff. You can keep both of your kidneys, by the way, if you want to go buy one.
I personally think that this MPC guitar, and if you're not, we have episodes on it, closer look maybe, but you have the back, we just kind of have the battery shoved in there haphazardly, right? Where you can have two effects built into the guitar. I keep trying to think about, how could they keep doing this and make it work on that? Is there a way? Is there a way to have a 3D printed Stomp Cradle that's going on the strap button or something? Yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking about it because there's something so cool. There's a few other companies out there that are building guitars with built-in effects now.
Right.
That are building analog effects into a guitar. Now there's some people out there, I think, is it Donner or somebody that has the whole modeler hooked to your phone thing. But I like the idea of it's not unheard of. This is my final thought. It's not unheard of because look at John Mayer, Warren Haynes, who else am I thinking of? I just saw one on somebody else's guitar. There was a rig rundown. The guy had it, and I'm trying to think what band it was. The little Olympic Stratoblaster thing that they're putting in here. Somebody else on a rig rundown just had one. John Mayer has one on his. Warren Haynes has a little toggle. But they all have these boosters built in the guitar. The guy from Joe Russo's Almost Dead has one built in, I think. It's not unheard of. People are still doing it, having these little circuits built into their guitars that give them the boost right up here. So anyway, down the rabbit hole. They're doing cool stuff. Check it out. If you have an MPC guitar, check it out. Stokka Engineering. We'll try and put a link down below. I think he has a store on Reverb.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for clicking the subscribe button, all that jazz. Anytime you interact with the channel, that's what helps us interact with cool people like Eric over at Stokka Engineering. And with that,
I'm PJ on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.